Of course, in all of my testing to ensure everything's working properly, somehow OBS has the audacity to reset my audio driver to default. Excuse me? No, I don't use the default audio settings. Everything I said in this own little room to myself was flawless, by the way. Was not my fault. I don't care. You all think that it was a problem on my end? May I say to thee, whatever. Anyway, hi, welcome ladies and gentlemen to the official ROCKFISH game stream. I am your host and your guide through all things EVERSPACE 2, Eric Schrader, your community ambassador. Oh my gosh, I did not leave you. I did not forget about you guys. GeekBite was just taking over last week and he had one heck of a good time with you all during the course of the launch of the summer update. Holy crap, super good. Super fantastic. Yes, I forgot to give him credits in that save file. I'm glad that he reminded you all that, but also he showed you just how tough this new content is on that normal difficulty setting, which was partially the intent. No, GeekBite, it wasn't a ploy of mine to throw you under the bus like that. Absolutely not. But I do think it's good to realize that the further you're progressing into this game, right, the greater systems and the challenges that are ahead of you are more challenging. And I do think that GeekBite did a phenomenal job showcasing that last week. Now, this week, today, I'm gonna be picking up kind of where he left off. Okay, so we just did the mission where you use the Zerulia bomber and you access its codes and then you send it over for Coalition, and the Coalition is like, well, hey, we have another job for you. This is where he left off. He did some exploring in some of the other locations, which we'll be gladly doing today. But I am gonna be continuing that mission chain so you can kind of see what's going on in this gang wars. Now, through the course of this process, of course, we will be answering your lovely questions. We'll have a showcase of screenshots at the end, and maybe, just maybe, I'll show some other stuff that we've already started working on for maybe a hotfix in future updates already. Like we just pushed this out the door and we're already like working hard on the next improvements. It's insane. It's absurd. I don't even understand. But to all of that, I also want to point out one other quick thing, just one other quick thing. A lot of you guys probably don't care too much because you're active in the live stream, but just for the record, the recap for last month, it is still coming, right? Like it's still gonna be here. It was only minorly delayed through several reasons, but in short, you guys know that I was out last week. There's been a lot of projects on our table to get this update out for you, and those have been priority as opposed to making a video. So that video will absolutely be here likely next week. So you can send it out to all your friends who don't watch the streams and say, here's a quick recap of what you missed, you know, yada, yada, yada. But otherwise, yeah, all is good in the state of rock fishing, and now I'm gonna show you exactly what I'm talking about. So, I did make my own little ship, by the way. Don't worry, I'm a professional. And yeah, we definitely are flying this bad boy. I like this because it has like these very neon vibes. I also, because I'm super cheeky, I also got a laser that shoots the same color for extreme consistency. All right. I just like being color coordinated sometimes, all right? This is kind of like my neon fighter. I also like the vantage point it has in the cockpit where you see the guns like they're slapped directly in front of you. Like, look at this. Like, look at this. Here's the cockpit right there, and it's like the guns are just right out in front of it. It's just, yeah, that's how we do it, and I really like the way that this looks. But anyway, let's cover the build very briefly, and then we'll start, you know, doing all the things. So this particular build, it looks like I don't have a lot unlocked, and technically I don't. This save file is very bare minimum outside of the main mission chains. So there's not a lot of like tricks and mainframe expansions and stuff like that that have been built up. We're mostly relying on equipment alone for this particular build. So what I'm running is I've got Defensive Massacre, so I'm triggering my shield to recharge when I get kills. We're doing Play It Safe. This is mostly to protect my shield from taking damage, because we're also using Excessive Force, which gives me a 30% increased damage. Increase. I said increase twice. That's how much it increases when the shield is fully charged. And then we also have Unyielding Assault, which if things get tough, things get really crazy, and we're just starting to soak damage, we can pop that, gain our armor back at least in the heat of the moment to capitalize on those gains. And according to this particular build where we want our shield to stay active, and we also want to pair it with probably devices since we have that reactive armor going on, we have ourselves a complementary pulse laser equalizer combo. So one's for energy DPS, one's for kinetic DPS. We have a fantastic shield actually, which our shields are higher than our hull because the Sentinel's shield bonus is absurd. Right? Oh, I'm blocking it. It's right there. 220% increase from our shield bonus. So we have this Starforge shield, and then our attribute points are distributed fairly equally across the board with a little less in resistance, but we have a lot in expertise, so that 21.6% shield damage reduction is going to be important, as well as having a pretty healthy amount of firepower. Utility could be better, but you know what? It is what it is. Last but not least, for our devices, this is kind of like a very important part of this. We have EMP generator that hasn't been evolved yet because I want to show you something cool that we added. We have energized boost that does damage when you're flying at the speed of sound or beyond that. We have magnetic repulsor, which push targets dropped energy orbs. That's for restoring shields. And then we have mercy kill corrosion injector, which is going to be paired with the magnetic repulsor. Resets the cooldown if the target is destroyed during the effect, where I'm going to try and be pushing them around and doing a lot of damage, etc., etc. So we want to use our devices a pretty healthy amount to get the reactive armor, keep our shields up, blah, 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 blah words. So this is what's really cool that we added. We are adding a preview so that even when you're looking at a device before it's the highest level, before you've maxed it out and you can see the mastery of it, now you can just hold the preview and boom, it's right there. So you can do a very quick comparison. Even at level 1, this EMP generator hasn't been touched yet, and upgrading it, we see that the standard format, it's basically 40 seconds and 500 range, right? And it only does, it does a small, it doesn't do any damage because it doesn't have that yet. It's 500 meters, that's all you have. But you can see from the mastery, like what your options look like, and it's at 26-second cooldown, 580 meter range. So a quick, very super fast comparison, just plugged in. Sound and video a bit desynced. Uh-oh, is it? Test 1, 2. Actually, it looks fine on my end. I would suggest a quick restart, reloading the stream. That might be what it is. But yeah, just a very minor thing. And then obviously we're gonna upgrade this because we need it maxed out for the purposes of being awesome. And this is going to be a priority modifier for this build. Restores 10% shield hit points for every target hit by the blast. We want this because we want our shields to be maxed out. We take a little bit of damage, we pop this, we max it out and have disabled targets, and we've got that 30% increased damage from our weapon bonus that we can just lay it down, right? So that is how we're going to be utilizing this build. All right, so all that being said, you got the build, you got the information, you got all the details of what's going on, and now we're going to continue this mission. And away we go.
You have our gratitude for your brave action.
Oh, thank you.
The explosive device you sent us will help us redress the balance of power in Drake.
So, what's the real story here, Mingyun? What are you up to?
The reason I was elected to lead is because I understand that the Coalition's future is in trade and not piracy. We're not outlaws anymore. But that has placed us in the crosshairs of the outlaws that still plague this system. 2 rival gangs, the Zerelia and the Retaliators.
Let me guess. As long as they remain at each other's throats, the focus stays off your operations here.
Very astute. However, they have agreed to start negotiations on a non-aggression pact, which, if it succeeds, will place our peaceful future in peril.
So, these Zerelia bombs I pilfered for you, you want to use them to provoke the Retaliators, and blow up the negotiations.
Exactly. The Retaliators cannot know the Coalition was involved. That is why we need you.
I'm not so sure I'm on board with the ethical side of this. I don't like the deceit, it's not my style.
Peace always comes at a price. It is the only way I can guarantee continued security for my people.
Your pragmatism is terrifying, but I can see your reasoning.
I'm sending you coordinates for the Retaliator HQ. The target houses no civilians. Do this, Adam, and you could save many lives.
I'm going to have to think about it.
Excellent. So we're getting a lot more information, and just as you are all already fairly aware, we will be adding authentic voices to the characters in the future. you get to see all the text to speech because it's a lot easier to listen as opposed to just read, especially if we're in the heat of combat. That's why we plug that in for a temporary process through the course of early access. But otherwise, one other very quick thing I wanted to talk about. On these new logos that you get, these new decals on the ship that you earn through going through the jobs, they do have transparency effects that make the color of the ship part shine through it specifically. So I want to show you this, what I'm talking about. We'll get in the sun here.
Yeah.
So like when we're looking at this particular decal, see how it has that fade in the background? See that fade? That fade is because of this color, not because of a color we chose on the decal itself. So you could technically have 4 different colors on a decal if you wanted to with these new options. And there's gonna be a couple more that have like this faded gradient thing that, again, the color here on your ship is what's going to apply that. Just a fun little thing to note. So if you're ever like tampering with these new ones and you plugged it in on your ship and you're like using red here and you made it all blue and you're like, why does it still have this red color on the back, or maybe even starts to look purple? That's why, all right? Because that transparency effect applies based on this and not the colors that you're choosing for it.
It's
Just
me again.
fun little fact.
Hold on, oof. Sorry, brain freeze. Too much ice cream.
Excellent.
Listen, I could use some more intel. What can you tell me about the Retaliator gang?
Oh, I fought them before. Nasty bunch. They're ex-colonial fleet too, but their boss is even crazier than Zealous.
How so?
Oleg. Balakin. This higher-ranking guy. He claimed an ocean planet and took over the abandoned terraforming structures which he converted into an impenetrable base. It was an aquaculture facility of some kind, and they built their own kind of screwed epitopia on the water. They got some robotic Swiss who's filled the place with AI booby traps. And Admiral Balakin himself, he's got to be, like, 100 by now, but his body is half android.
Well, I think I gotta pay them a visit. Thanks for the intel, Alec.
Excellent, excellent. So I'm already seeing a couple questions go ahead and cycling it, so let's answer them very quickly, and then we'll get right back into the game. So the first question comes from Bearded Frog. Why didn't we get the last new companion in the Summer Drake update like it was intended to be according to the roadmap? In short, because development happened. Because certain things we decided this has to take priority over these other elements. You know, in the perfect world, every single thing that we say, this is gonna happen here, this is gonna happen here, this is gonna happen here, would actually happen, right? But you know, deadlines get pushed back. Content gets shipped around, right? Like, this type of stuff happens. So while we did have every intent to have that companion come out with this particular update, in short, it wasn't ready yet. If we would have launched it, I don't think you guys would have been happy with the companion. You wouldn't have been happy with how you obtained them. You wouldn't have been happy with what they provide, and it just wouldn't have been good. And you guys don't deserve that. We don't want to do that to ourselves. So we're going to work on that companion and deliver it when the companion's actually ready. That's really what it comes down to. It's a good question. It kind of sucks, and I'm sorry about that, but the companion's still coming. Don't worry. We didn't cut the companion out of the game, but we want to deliver the companion in a state that is deliverable. We got 2 other questions here, and then we're going to get back into the game, both from Bill Farson. The first one is, why isn't there main missions in Drake? If they are adding it, when will it be out? Main missions in Drake will be coming out likely at 1.0. What? All the way out in 1.0? Eric, tell me that isn't true. I want more story-driven content. Well, yes. Now, also remember that in the spring update, a lot of what we were conveying is that we don't want to release any more of the story from this point. We want to withhold that until the 1.0 release so that you have a lot to look forward to and see how things shape and change in the DMZ based on your interactions with these various persons and races, etc. Okay? So, but at the same time, because we're still delivering an early access product and you want more, We are, of course, still making side missions that you can participate in through Drake, like the Gang Wars, as we are doing right now, as well as a slew of new job types that have shown up. I'm sure you guys have seen that, and if you haven't, we'll probably take on some of those today as well. And yeah, that's the big reason. Then the last bit from Bill Farson before we get back in. How does Commissioner Hawk's Colonial Cruiser jump from system to system, given that it can't fit into a jump gate? She has, that's a good question. In short, it's gonna be that the Colonials have basically like Gradient Brunt's technology, like the warp gate technology, it stems from the Colonial Warfront efforts, okay? A lot of GMB is basically the demilitarized aspects of the Colonial fleet after the Okar Colonial conflict, right? So in order to navigate the space during the wars, the Colonial ships absolutely had to have every means necessary to jump around before there were even jump gates available. And they certainly weren't just exploring all the way through space to get to a point to build a jump gate. No, they were jumping around left and right as much as they could. Also because, you know, money wasn't a price for war. They were putting as much into that as possible. But now with GMB taking over, they're collecting jump gates, making it accessible for commercial freighters and, you know, industrial works and all of those types of things. But the war efforts, I mean, if a warship needs to get somewhere and there's not a jump gate, it's not going to be stopped. It doesn't need to travel through that. So yeah, those are your 3 quick responses on that front. And now back to the game. So we have to head over to the, I think it's the Retaliators. Is that where we're going next? And we got to do some bomb stuff. Woo! Yeah. Also, music. You guys said you wanted some beatboxing too, so maybe we can do something with this. There you go. I think it's this part right here. Oh, I bumped my mouse. Oh yeah. So some of you may have noticed, but the music changed. I don't know why. I like the old one. I also like this one. I hope you guys do too. Some decision was made and I wasn't aware of, but I dig it. All right. So I see one really long message and I'm gonna answer it real briefly because it's about saves and I think this is important. So the question in short is, makes sense to start a new save game. Let's see. Current gear and change stats really make a difficult thing at the moment. Yep. Time is so precious at the moment. I still like to simply explore places. So how was your experience? Did you start with a fresh save game or did you continue? I think it's a great community question over on Twitch. I think you should all let our good man Wolkenform know if you guys decided to start a fresh save or if you continued where you left off and what that did for your particular experience. Based on what we've seen on the forums, like it is night and day when somebody has a suggestion with where they're at to like know like if they were starting fresh in this new update or if they were continuing where they left off. Like the discrepancy between those two is actually a bit larger than you might think. And I'm really particularly curious where you guys have been, specifically over on Twitch. You guys should definitely answer that comment. Now, if you guys want to start that discussion on YouTube as well, by all means, but that's where the conversation's happening. Could be fun. All right, let's get into Gilbert Naval
I'm at
Base.
the Retaliator HQ. This place is quite something to behold. I'm going in.
This location is extremely well defended. Be prepared for serious resistance.
I wouldn't expect anything less.
We've managed to steer the Zerelia bomb drone to an unused access shaft half underwater. Once you reach it, you'll need to find a way inside.
I'm taking your word that there are no civs down here.
I promise you this is merely a strategic target.
How many of you guys have been exploring underwater? Have you found anything interesting yet? All right. So I just wanted to kind of go underneath water because I didn't want to provoke any fighters yet. I just want to get here somewhat safely. Oh, up! You see that? You see that? Uh-huh. Whoop, whoop. Pressure warning. Too deep, too deep, too deep. All right. Is it possible to continue a save game when the game releases? No, we don't want it to be possible. That would create a lot of issues for you, and I don't think you deserve that. All right, here we are.
Intruder, you have 5 seconds to turn around, or it's time to drown.
Lol.
I don't like either of those choices. Is there an option C? There's our bomb drone. Now I just have to figure out how to open that door.
I see some individuals are talking about more effects and details and stuff pertaining to like locations and like underwater and stuff. Yeah, no, we totally agree. I think that through the course of the stream, you might see that there have been a couple of other like little added effects for certain things. Like for example, let's turn our lights off. Do you hear that?
There must be an energy source that is powering the door. If you can find it, perhaps you can deactivate it.
Simple little details like that, don't you worry. We got you. All right, so now we have to open this door. Follow the cables. Follow the cables.
The other end of the cable. Might be a generator behind that panel. Just need to find a way to take it out.
Ah, okay, yes. Let's get some gas tanks out of this.
Gas tanks.
These cannot be ignited underwater. Neither can you shoot them.
Ah, shame.
All right, so now we got to grab these. All right, nice little alignment. See if we can get them both in one shot.
That should have done something.
Awesome.
Let's get back to the drone and see if the door's open.
Beautiful.
I'm on the roll. Gate is open.
I would not celebrate yet. My sensors indicate the access hatch is filled with traps and explosives.
Yeah, I should take care of those before sending our drone in.
All right, so now it's time to explore this site so that when we send this thing in, it doesn't just explode. Oh yeah, I forgot, you have to manually do this. There's a reason why we did that too, because you actually have to, we want you to have to navigate instead of just all guns blazing.
I think we're good in here. Let's get the drone safe inside.
Beautiful. So this little mission, you know, we had a lot of back and forth internally and figuring out what we needed to do with this to make sure it wasn't too hard or too easy.
Oh, you were just.
But we're pretty happy with where it's currently at.
Most assuredly not.
Another door.
It should come as no surprise that this facility was not designed to welcome strangers like yourself with open arms.
Well, if there's a door, there's also a way to open it.
So as you can see, and trying to sneak our way in, we have to do that with our drone here. Uh-oh, whoop! To find a pathway in to open this door. Look at that.
Success.
It's
Yay!
just another door.
Oh, yeah? When's the last time you ever opened a door, smarty pants?
No comment.
Excellent. So we got ourselves a Jaeger and a cloak field generator. Ooh, don't mind if I do. Excellent. Nice little progress through the station. All right. Whoop, whoop. So as you are leading your little bomb dispenser through this, you can probably tell you don't want it to explode. So there's a little bit of taking care of the path in front of you that needs to be handled for this side mission chain. There we go, excellent. Now we can bring that bomb forward. Oh, maybe not quite yet. I got some turrets, and I think I heard something else in there too. Oh, I want our shields at max, but this is okay. Ah, it's on the other side of that shield. All right. Excellent. All right. Now we can go ahead and send forward. Just didn't want to get blown away by those turrets. That would have been sad. And at any point in time, we could technically stop this as well. So it's like you see something ahead, you're just like, oh crap! You just stop it. Oh, excuse me. You're supposed to keep going. I didn't tell you to stop. I didn't tell you to stop.
I'm approaching a spot you've marked on my map for bomb placement.
Very good. You're directly underneath their armory. Our spies have identified 4 nodes in total. Bombing them simultaneously will disable their war infrastructure and set them back for some time.
First one set up, 3 to go.
Excellent. All right, so we're gonna keep moving forward since we've opened the way a bit at least. We haven't gone through here yet.
Scurrying around below my deck like a little rat.
Who, me? Nope, just inspecting some cabling. Routine maintenance call. Situation normal.
This is Admiral Balakin. I do not take kindly to intruders. I will find you down there, vermin, and I will exterminate you.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. But look, if you would set fantasy aside for a moment, you might want to think about evacuating this place. It's about to get real hot.
Real hot? Are you one of Zealous men? If that bastard sent you to piss in my end of the pool, he will suffer for it.
Yeah. That's me. Zealous little helper. But again, nothing personal, so you might want to gather up some things and paddle yourselves upstream.
You're the one who will be swimming with the fishes very soon, little rat.
Well, don't say I didn't try to warn you. By now.
He seemed nice.
So many puns. So many puns. All right. So we're just kind of like making progress. You guys can keep asking questions and I'm happy to answer them. So let's see what else we got. How many atmospheres can it handle? It's specifically a spaceship, so about 1. Yeah, technically. Yeah. I think that if we wanted to like evaluate what a spaceship could handle in regards to like pressure and temperature and all that fun stuff, we could get like incredibly pedantic responses here, like hyper accuracy. And I do want to remind you all that this is a video game. We want you to have fun, and there are restrictions in place in order for you to focus in on said fun. For example, if we just let you go through like all of the planet's water territory, you're probably gonna be bored out of your mind. So yeah, we restrict that access by the pressure warning, stuff like that, absolutely. Eric, what do you think of making your ship shoot out jets of water from the thrusters to propel the ship underwater instead of using conventional thrusters? I think that's actually what we started out with, and it didn't look very fun. It didn't look very good, so I think we changed it. No, I do think that there will be, let me rephrase that. There will absolutely be more aesthetic touch-ups and tweaks for how the ship operates, much like how, you know, we have new friggin' wings for the ship as we're going into like tier 3 now, right? We're adding a lot more features and like doodads and trinkets and gizmos and what's-its. Oh my gosh, it's starting to sound like we're going into Willy Wonka's chocolate factory or something, but you get the point. You get the point. So yeah, there will constantly be refinement of that. And underwater, I know, is a point that we are continuing to develop. So, how deep can the player dive in meters before taking damage? I have no freaking clue. We just want you in the game area to do the things. Thank you for that question, Excelsior. Will all the systems left be used for the 1.0 update or later on? All the systems left. Oh, you mean like these locations and stuff? Probably. We might have more to show and talk about in the fall, but I'm not 100% sure. I would assume that we won't for two reasons. One, we haven't made any claims that we would. And two, because I have seen what we've been working on right now. And yeah, systems are cool and awesome and fantastic. But yeah, there are a lot of other priorities to ring together to make the gameplay experience priority first, right? And then the last but not least question because that last one was from Snibbetasnap. So thank you for that from YouTube. And then our last one comes from Kazaa for the moment. How the team feel about the current difficulty of the Zerulia Retaliator enemies? That took a lot of ironing out, and we got to see a lot of your feedback through the course of the experimental, over the course of like that last week, right? So we're pretty happy with it now. There's still a couple kinks that we got to work out. We do know that there was a issue with the Zerulia bombers being a little bit too powerful, so I know that one's gonna get tweaked.
Second bomb attached.
There were a couple other issues that we found, kind of like, I don't know, because maybe you're familiar with it, like a parting gift, a mine that you get from, say, teleporting, was doing just a little bit too much damage. Of course, that's not Retaliator and Zerulia related, but I digress. There's still lots of tweaks and whatnot that we have been finding, you guys have been finding, so we'll be on the constant hunt for improving those qualities and features. All right, let's go through this bit and find another way. Whoop. Excellent. Excellent. Up. Up. Woo. That was close. That almost threw us back into the first chamber. That'd have been silly. All right. Easy does it. Slow and steady wins the race. Watch the suck? Yeah, basically. Basically accurate. All right, get these Retaliator drones out of here. Wonderful. Do a quick check and ensure that there's nothing else down this corridor. Ah! I am so glad our shield is incredibly strong. But look at that, the second our shield breaks, we're basically dead. Woo! So... ouch! One must be very careful in these parts. All right, I think we got them all, and if we didn't, you'll know because I'll just explode. All right. Much better. Let's get this bomb drone in working order. Ancient Rift spots enemies, space whale. So yeah, this fall update that we're already starting to work on, kind of. I say kind of because we're still, in all sincerity, we're still tweaking a lot of the stuff that we released with the summer update. Because we just have recognized a number of things. You guys recognized a number of things, and we just want to make it better. So yeah, there's still a bit of that. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, the fall update, it's already growing closer.
Only one left.
And there are fun times to be had on that front. Okay, so. Don't you love the neon look that I put on this ship? It looks even better that it's burning. It's literally burning. Oof. Don't worry, I'm a professional. Oh my gosh. All right, anyway. Let's just bring this forward. What could possibly go wrong? Looks like Tron? Yeah, it's kind of got some Tron vibes. Yeah, that's a good point. All right, here we go. Let's take a dip.
You are approaching a flooded section.
Stop!
Long abandoned. I do not know what might be waiting for us down here. And you know your weapons are non-functional underwater.
Right. Thanks for the pep talk.
Very good, very good. Fantastic. Are there bubbles coming out of the engines anymore? I know that we had that at a time. Did we remove that? I say that like you guys know. I'm kind of asking my coworkers. We had like this general bubble effect at first. And I think it was either like too much or it was weird or something. I can't even remember. There was a reason we removed it, but not probably permanently. We just need to make sure the interactions that we establish in the game, they look proper and it feels good. And as it stood, it didn't. All right, so we need to go around this corner to get out of the water. You're still moving, right? Yes. Good. Ah, yes, the last one. I think we need to get the bomb dispenser here first. There we go. Excellent. It's been a while since I did this mission. Bubbles fade away after diving as they're supposed to. Okay. I feel like... Alright, that's fine. That's fine. Cool. Oh, I need to grab the bomb. Ha! Beautiful.
What the hell just happened?
It seems the exit door has been shut behind us.
Uh-oh.
I told you we would find you, little rat. How does it feel to be trapped inside with your own bombs? Let's see how badly you really want to set those bombs off. Enough that you'll go with them.
He makes a good point. Perhaps we should not signal the coalition to trigger the bombs.
We can find another way out of here.
There is a bulkhead door. I believe its molecular structure has been weakened by years of saltwater erosion.
On it.
Wonderful.
What the hell are those things?
Drones of some kind. They are scanning.
Scanning for what?
Your bombs. If they find them, they will defuse them, and this mission is over.
Then we better not let them find the damn things.
You're a fearful enemy. I believe you're already free.
Really? Are you going to make me walk the plank too?
Excellent. So we have a little defense mission here.
You can't reach all my bomb disposal points in time. You have already failed.
I don't give up that easy, old man. While the bomb disposal drones are destroyed.
There you go. And then tell us. So your hellish master that he's forged up, that active null, and his life forfeit.
I guess that would achieve the objective.
Excellent. Let's grab this content. Then we're gonna hide underwater.
Time to detonate the bombs.
Bombing sequence initiated. Get
Or we'll just get out.
there, Adam.
Whee!
Did you make it out in one piece?
Amazingly, yes. And it seems like old Balakin took the bait.
More than anticipated. We're intercepting their comms and there are some fireworks. I urge you to pay us another visit at HQ. You surely don't want to miss this.
I'll be there.
Wonderful. So now we can head back over. Ooh, new decal for the retaliators. Need to head back to Lethos Starport. Delightful. There's no change in ship speed and no water effects. That will change later. I believe when getting submerged, there is a subtle change to how the ship moves. At least very first, when it's going into the water. Because I know that I could definitely feel it in playtesting. But for the most part, what I will also say though, is Ossuary, I believe is your username over on Twitch, is that we want to make sure that the vast majority of the game being played is not in a way where it's like you have to learn how to use the environments differently. We want all locations to be felt pretty similarly so that overall the movement of your ship is consistent with what your playstyle is. Like if you do a light ship, you're gonna have a lot of free range movement regardless of what the environment is. If you're a heavier ship, you're gonna have a greater impact on like your inertia, stuff like that. It's also why like in-atmo locations don't have a difference in how you're playing versus when you're in space. We want that to be consistent. So to my understanding, we also want underwater to be pretty consistent to that as well. But you will feel the change going from the atmosphere into the water. All right, let's answer a couple more questions. Someone said the rain doesn't seem to hit the ship, does it? It does. If you're in cockpit mode, you can see it generate on the cockpit. And also when you're in third person, you can actually see the splots hit your viewing camera, you know, your monitor, if you will. But yeah. When will the actual voice recordings be available? Per usual update fashion, it tends to be the next update after provides a lot of the vocal performances. Though I also know that that can get a little bit costly, right? Because what we're doing is we're having, you know, thousands of lines of text that need to be read by a voice actor, right? And when we do that in these small pockets where it's like, oh, we do an update, do these voice lines for us. Okay, thanks, bye. And then, you know, another 3-4 months rolls around. Hey, we have these more lines for you. Do these. Okay, thanks, bye. That's gonna be far more expensive than if we bring a big old handful of voice lines and say, hey, do these voices for us. We gather all of that at once. Okay, thanks, bye. It's a more cost-effective way to utilize the money that you guys gave us. This is your money that you gave us, supporting our game. Like, we wanna make sure that we're using that fruitfully. We wanna make sure that we're using that effectively. And it wouldn't make sense for us to, like, every time we get a small update here or a small update there or a number of voice lines to just be like, okay, well, let's go to the voice actors, pay them the big bucks for doing just a couple of lines and then be on our way. So we will wait to do that at a very cost-effective time. Could be the next update. It could also be until the 1.0 release itself. Michael might have a little bit more information to share on when that will specifically happen, but just know we want to do so utilizing your funding effectively and fruitfully. Okay, cool. Reflective effects such as bubbles, trail heat, and such didn't seem to be any visible refraction of photos. Is there a bug or meant to be the save performance or such in the photo mode? Okay, I see. From the crispy muffin. Yeah, so I'm not really sure how much more is coming to the photo mode in regards to like being underwater. I would have to completely defer that to another individual on the team. I legitimately have no idea. But what I will do is I'll write that one down and I'll see what else is coming on that front, since we do like our photo mode and it's pretty clear that you guys do too, with the number of screenshots we'll be going through at the end of the stream especially. And we would like to make as many of those pretty looking shots as possible. And those details are important. Those details are important. So much like I've said already, like, you know, the bubbles that we were able to see as you're diving into the water, like, should there also be bubbles when fire hits the water underneath, and, you know, or plasma or whatever's coming out of the jets, you know, whatever, should that be happening? Maybe. Will we plug it in? Maybe. It's really hard to say at this point in time, but we want it to look good. That I can assure you. So we'll see what we can do. We will see. Time will tell. I see a couple more questions about like tweaking rendered visuals regarding raining, floating ice, etc. And you go into photo mode. Whew, man, that all kind of like, it all kind of goes into the same sort of question. That's from Kazaa as well. So we'll just have to see. We will just have to see. Time will tell on that front. But I will be poking my teammates after the stream especially, and maybe I'll have some responses for the Discord or like frequently asked questions channel and the forums, stuff like that. Or maybe if they're listening intently, they'll even respond in the chat itself. I know Michael's been present. He's always awesome. Our CEO, ladies and gentlemen, what a pleasure. Speaking of Michael, he says, we're adding voice acting every other update to make voice recording worthwhile. Since there's only one more update before 1.0, we probably won't add any more voice acting with the latest early access update. So that is straight from big bad boss man himself. Whew! Excellent. Excellent. And then the last question I have for the moment comes from Bill Farson. Once again, lots of questions from Bill on YouTube. Thanks for that. That's great, by the way. Many cool characters from Everspace 1 have made it into Everspace 2, like our beloved Alec and also Turin, while other characters like Throng or Maurice do the same. I sure would hope so. I sure would hope so. This also goes into the same question where we have people saying, man, I super wish that X weapon would make its return in Everspace 2. And I sure hope so. I do. Like, the hard work that we put into Everspace 1 and we established like this world building and where things came from and how that has shaped and changed through the events of Everspace 1 into Everspace 2, we'd like to bring back as much of that as possible. The question is, are we able to? And that's a great question for us to ask ourselves based on the deadlines that we have and the content that we want to ensure that we hit from a gameplay perspective. You know, now we're also adding into those factors of narrative and story-based gameplay components. It can get pretty crazy, right? It can get pretty crazy. But sincerely, the long and the short of it is, time is going to reveal just how much we're able to bring in. Because if we could have our way, we'd bring back every single reference, every single weapon, every single device, consumable, character, everything, and just make Everspace 2 just Everspace 1 but more, right? Like, that's what we would want to do. That's what we would want to do. So we will see. Also note that we have mentioned that we will be making a DLC, so maybe there's also room in that to include more references and characters and items and stuff like that, based on our deadlines and timelines and whatnot. Cool. All right.
Commander Yun,
Adam Roslin, I'm glad you came.
I generally like to finish what I started. Has the ruse worked?
Better than I could have hoped. The two gangs are about to engage in all-out battle for supremacy.
I hope it's worth it. I assume you have a backup plan in place for when they start talking.
I assure you that will never happen. Their hatred is too great to bend to reason.
That sounds more like overconfidence than wisdom.
You do not know me well enough to take such an informal tone.
Yeah, that tone.
Yeah, maybe. But if any of them stop shooting long enough to ask questions, it'll lead right back to the coalition. And what will you do then?
There are, perhaps, precautions we could take, if it's not too late.
And by we, I suppose you mean me?
You said you wanted to finish what you started. It would mean flying almost directly into the middle of their battle, and just hoping not to be seen.
Sounds suicidal. What's the goal?
There's a long-range comms network in the sector, left over from the war. If you jam their transmissions, they won't be able to get word out about the deception, or put two and two together.
Okay. But I'd have to jam every single radio dish manually, right? Not an easy play.
It's my fault for not thinking of this sooner. I can't ask more of you, Adam Roslin.
It's true.
But if I do nothing, the station could end up in even more danger than before I put these events in motion.
Also true.
Please, Adam, for the sake of the children.
I can't say I fully agree with your way of doing things, or using Alex kids to pull my heartstrings. But we are dealing with lunatics here.
All right, so we'll answer a couple more questions with this story driving forward. It's exciting, I know, and our ship looks busted up. Actually, let's repair that real quick. Oh, that shine! It's brand new. Oh, I love it. I love it. All right, so let's answer a couple more questions. One is a really important question, and I have seen it kind of hovering a lot, and I'd really like to give everybody some details on it. First, Umi from Twitch asked, the diffused drones have the same HP/tank as a capital ship turret in the corridor door. Will that change later on as it seems weird and breaks immersion? I'm not sure how much that's breaking immersion for you specifically, but rest assured we are constantly refining and shaping and changing values of certain types of enemies, or what enemies grant with XP, or how much they fill up a boss meter, or X, Y, and Z. There's a lot that's still getting shaped and changed on that front. Considering that we just went through the experimental of the Drake system like 2 weeks ago, and this is week 1 of this particular update, I'm sure we're going to see a lot more community elements brought to the table that invoke proper, meaningful change on our front. And yeah, that could potentially be one of those things. If you guys have suggestions, by the way, I'm already starting to see the discussions, like people are going, oh, I've got an idea, oh, I've got a suggestion, I got this, that I got. That is awesome. Sincerely, I love it. But please keep in mind, the course of these streams, I am answering questions, yes, but it's not really a place for us to discuss those ideas and those suggestions and whatnot. In fact, that would kind of like sideline the stream a bit with the focal points that we have and what we're trying to cover. So I highly encourage you to take your ideas and your suggestions and either consolidate them in a way to have a discussion with other people in the channel, or take them over to the Steam forums. That's gonna be the best place forever, because you drop it in there, it's not gonna get lost. Other people can join that front, discuss it. That's where we catalog all of those ideas and suggestions that could potentially aid us in the future. But yeah, just note that I'm not really gonna be commenting towards those ideas and suggestions you have in the chat itself. I'm gonna be answering questions. Cool. All right, this was an important question. I just feel like it really, really needs to be addressed. And then we're gonna get into some really cool combat. Bearded Frog asks, will there ever be tweaks to the sensors to allow them to discover puzzle objectives better? The range is terrible, and it often means you have to use photo mode to find stuff. I don't think that it means you have to use photo mode, but I understand why you would particularly do that, especially if you're a completionist who can't stand that you have 95% unlocked. Where's the heck is that last thing? I have to find it. I get it. I totally do. I'm a completionist myself, sincerely. But do know that internally, we have been talking about that. We've been kind of crunching our numbers and saying, okay, well, does this feel good? Does this feel right? Or does it feel like a burden? Is this hindering players' ability to move forward in their experience? And I can tell you that we have an idea as to what we are going to do on this front pertaining to completionists out there. It may or may not be a big change, all right? And as of right now, like, there's still more discussion that has to go around it, but just know, very much so, we are discussing this. We do think that this is important to iron out, and even if we don't necessarily think it's an issue, which we don't, I'm being clear here, I'm being super clear, we don't really think that this is an issue. We do see how it can become one for certain types of players, and if we can alleviate that, we will. We will. So, we'll see if there is something that we can do on that front to alleviate that 100% completion stress, that anxiety that you have about not having a location finalized. All right. So, cool. What a fun little question that was, wasn't it? Okay, yeah, and Geekbyte is cataloging all of your questions like a madman. So you guys, if I don't answer your question immediately, just know that I am backtracking to that just in case. Thanks, Geekbyte, by the way, for doing that, because seriously, it's amazing. All right, so now we're on to the next part of the Gang Wars. We got to go pay another visit to, where is it? That's right, the Quimper Belt. I think our build's pretty successful so far, by the way. I think that drone defense, you didn't get to see, oh, what am I doing? I need a super light. I think the drone mission, because everything wasn't consolidated, it was like scattered, that made our build a bit harder to bring together, but rest assured, it's been pretty effective. I love how strong our shield is. That's like the bread and butter of this particular build, and I think that is working particularly well. 268k money, you are a rich man. Well, I mean, considering where we're at in the game and the story and all of that type of stuff, I don't think it's too much. It's certainly a lot more than Geekbyte had last week. I'm so sorry. I really am. Oh, goodness. Zero. I had big fat zero money. Oh, I know. It was not intended. It really wasn't. Oh, yeah, yes. Just goes to show how much you can prep and plan and prepare for, and still, there's like the dumbest stuff that sneaks in. We got this massive update. Everything's great. Everything's wonderful. It's super cool. And then somebody's like, oh yeah, you know your photo mode? I can exploit that and do ridiculous things to your weaponry. Thanks for that. Woo! All right, cutscene time.
I see them. Looks like they're just approaching. Those are quite big fleets.
And there are presumably even more units waiting outside the perimeter. I have located the long-range dishes Commander Ming-Yun spoke of. There are 4 in this sector.
Good. Mark the coordinates for me. I just need to watch out that no one sees me.
Woo! All right. Gosh, I don't know about you guys, but like, I really missed these ice asteroid fields. Like, this was something that I really enjoyed from EVERSPACE 1. And like, when we started working on EVERSPACE 2, it took...
You need to get close enough for me to upload a wideband frequency gamma.
It just took so long for us to get to this point. And it's just like, man, I love the ice asteroids. When are they coming back? And
However,
it's the little things, and I love it.
open a
I love it
back
so much.
channel, should you wish to listen in to live calms from the battle.
Sure. That should be entertaining.
All going to die for what you have done.
It's only you fools who died today, you deranged merman.
I was willing to let the past lie, but you just couldn't resist taking a cheap shot.
Just keep telling yourself that, right to your grave.
All right, let's get another one of these terminal onlines.
You get the jammer uploaded?
Yes. And I am continuing to tap their lines.
Your losses are becoming unsustainable.
So are yours, Admiral.
Maybe you should have thought twice before throwing your bombs our way.
I've never thought twice about anything.
Oh, whoops, over here. We're trying to read chat and activate these terminals all at the
Another
same time.
one jammed.
You should tell your forces to just give up already.
You're the one to talk?
Spare your men additional losses and surrender.
Never. Especially not to someone who steals our tech.
As if I would ever dream of acquiring your ill-begotten ordnance.
Here with the lies again. It really is getting pathetic. I know it was your people.
It is your people who lie. You wouldn't know truth if it hit you in the face.
Hive. I don't like the direction this conversation is going.
It's true.
We need to get the last dish jammed fast.
This conversation reminds me of the struggles I had with my brothers growing up.
Last one down.
Enough of this charade. Just admit your snake in the grass attack, and let's end this.
I'm telling you, we didn't attack.
Damn it. Hive. How are they still talking?
There appears to be one last comms dish, but it's too low power. I cannot locate it. Scanning.
Uh-oh.
Scan faster.
Come on, Zealous. I know it was you. Your signature bombs were planted all over our base.
Bombs that were stolen money.
Are you kidding me? Why the hell would we steal your bombs to bomb ourselves?
Something's not right. I'm starting to think we've been duped.
Uh-oh.
But who?
Ceasefire. Everyone.
Scrap. I think we're screwed.
Hey, boss. I'm picking up a bogey. He's been watching us this whole time.
Uh-oh.
Well, Admiral, what do you say we give them a warm welcome?
Attack.
This could be a sticky situation here.
Here we go.
You're the kid that's stolen our bombs. What the hell are you playing at?
Just making sure none of
Woo.
you leave here alive.
Ah, I'll sooner see you go flashing.
Good, good. Good damage output.
Miserable, conniving freak. Your death will be close by way.
I have no plan of getting involved dying right now.
Alright, shields are still at max.
Damn it.
Uh-oh.
I don't know how much more of this the ship can take.
All forces, cease fire or prepare to be eliminated.
Mingman, you can't.
I had a change of heart. It would be wrong to abandon you, after what you have done for us. If I cannot save your life, how can I guarantee the lives of my people?
Well, your change of heart saved my ass just in time.
We were fine.
The Coalition. Ming-Yun, you were behind all this.
You tried to deceive us.
Correction. Paladin, I did deceive you.
Ooh,
You have
that's cold.
unfortunately lost enough of your firepower to cease to be a threat any further. So, why don't you back down now with what you have remaining?
Never.
You're going to pay for your trickery.
Then so be it. Expect immediate annihilation.
Everyone. No survivors.
This is some melee. What did we get ourselves into this time? Hive?
To maintain what little sanity I have left, I stopped asking such questions a long time ago.
Oh my gosh, I love
That is
Hive.
just what I needed.
Oh yeah, we're keeping a very consistent full shield. I'm very pleased with this build. Very pleased with this build. We are playing on very hard, right? Like, I'm not... Oh my gosh! What? What? What is that? I felt like things were a little easy. Oh, what is this nonsense? What is this nonsense? All right. Okay. I was like looking at that coalition bar, not moving at all. Should definitely be moving. Whew. Oh man, do we start the stream over? Is that what do we do that? Do we what? How dare I? That's on me, guys. That's completely my bad. Oh well. Look at me all talking about how, oh, I'm playing on very hard, herp, been playing on normal the whole time. Wow. All right. Okay. Look at this guy. Oh my goodness. Still getting our shields matched. Good. At least the build is coming together, all right? That's nice. All right. Now, we did have some discussions about the Zerilia drones, and I believe they are actually one element that's going to get modified either through a hotfix or just to the next update, because they're actually a little bit too beefy. They are actually a little too hard. Just a little bit. Hold still. Thank you. Pardon me, Coalition. Excellent. I will have a little bit more to show you in regards to these battles, though.
This is all your fault, Zealous. There was no part of me that ever trusted you. That's all this fiasco has proven. Don't call me in future.
I've lost too many fighters. This would never have happened without you, Balakin. I'm out of here.
Commander, both Zealous and Balakin have escaped.
Let them go. Their forces are diminished, their peace pact is dead, and they have been reminded of the Coalition's strength. They won't bother us again.
Damn, we actually did it?
You did it, Adam Roslin. None of this could have happened without you.
Or easy mode.
I'm still not sure if there could have been a better way.
It was dirty work, but necessary. Tell Aeolic that his children will forever have a special place with us, and that he is welcome to pay us a visit. His past indiscretions are forgotten.
He'll be very happy to hear that.
Travel safe.
Excellent. So we completed the gang wars. You guys got to see the conclusion of how everything kind of gets wrought together, but we also see that the bosses of both factions are let go. They are still out and about doing their things, which is important to the other events that take place inside of the Drake system itself, which is now what I would like to show you next. I think. Let me double check my notes, because I think there's also something else that I might be able to sneak in here. I did show you the device masteries can be previewed, which is a really cool new thing. We also changed here. I don't think this was in the hotfix. I don't think it was. But Downtime Warrior, you can actually see it now. Weapons require 15% less energy. That used to be 25%. So either this was added in the hotfix or this is going to be something we add in the future. But yeah, 25% less energy for each device on cooldown. At tier 3 ships, when you can shoot 4 devices down to where you effectively have completely free energy, we were seeing some unfortunate exploits through that. So you can still do that. Like, you can still have a very nice 60% reduced energy cost for your weapons by having all 4 devices on cooldown, which is massive. It's just not going to be where you can, I don't know, say fire a pulse laser on a gunship for 12 days straight, doing an absolute absurd amount of damage based on the added hard points and overarching powers of the pulse laser because of its high energy cost. So yeah, there's that. And then there were also a couple other little tweaks and whatnot that are likely gonna show up soon. Yeah, the Zerilia drone damage is gonna be reduced. And we're also gonna be buffing the retaliator units, so kind of, hey, you know, I guess you could say it was a little too hot. We gotta cool things off. Wait for it. I know I've got this somewhere. Perfectly timed. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so that's that. And then there's some other things too, but we'll cover that probably in the future. So yeah, fun times. Fun times. So now what we want to do is we want to fly around. We want to explore some Drake. If you guys haven't done this yet, if you haven't had an opportunity to do so yet, there's a lot of really cool, really fun places to go. And just like the little secrets and nuances that they hold too, they're pleasant. We're gonna go over here because this is one that you've probably seen in the trailers. There's some cool stuff to find underwater, which, should I reveal it all? I don't know, but we can definitely look at some stuff. And we'll also have to do a couple unknown signals here and there because there can be fun things going on inside of them too. All right, so here we just have, it's a standard battle going on. We just have some retaliators. We got some coalition in the background, I see. Ooh, a blueprint, nice. Man, my aim is absolutely garbage right now. Here, let's focus in on this bomber and get him going with some corrosion damage. That way we don't even have to worry about his shields. Much better. Much better. Oh, yes. Enemies happen to be way easier when they can't, you know, damage you at all. Who'd have thought? Who'd have thought? All right, we got more retaliators fighting the coalition. I think they'll be fine. Let's just keep going. They'll be fine. That location sure did look a lot like an EVERSPACE 1 site, though. That's for sure. Oh my goodness. Don't reduce Zerlia bombers and drones, dang it. Oh, we're not reducing the bombers, just the drones. The drones are doing a little too much. The bombers are still, I think we like where the bombers are at, honestly. The bombers hit well. They're in a good range. They need to be tough. All right, so we're at this new site and we want to answer one more question. Listen, can we in the future have less of the uncolorable silver areas on ships? Some ships have tons of that and it really ruins being able to style them. That sounds like such a particular preferential question for me that I don't even know how to answer that. You know, the way that we're designing each of the systems and like when I say systems, I'm talking about all of these. Like we want them to stand out for their own ways, right? Like Zarkov, it's very orange, right? He's got debris and dust scattered everywhere, like space dust. And, you know, the locations you stop by, you know, it's clear that the outlaws are in a bit of turmoil and surviving out here. You've got the Kite Nebula with just rampant with the Redeemers, and the various colors that pop out of the nebula, as well as the planets that you can fly by or in. You know, you got Union, which is kind of like your sort of standard sort of space and orange blue contrast with plasma fields and stuff sort of experience there. And then Cedo is your very calm beginning opening sort of system where everything is just, you know, it's mysterious, but it's not super crazy challenging. It's a great introduction into this whole spacefaring environment that you're going towards. I think Drake offers a lot at its planetary locations, as you can see here. And we wanted that to be its standout features. Like when you go to these environments, yeah, the star and flying around in super light nothing shouts at you, nothing screams at you and says, oh my gosh, look at how distinct this location is, but we also kind of wanted to do that. In fact, the superlight music is kind of indicative of that. The superlight music is meant to be this calm before the storm. It's setting the stage where you know there's stuff going on, you just can't quite see it. In fact, it looks almost fine. You're flying around, you're looking at things, it seems good. But then when you go into these sites and when you're looking at, you know, the turmoil that Zerilia and Retaliators are utilizing in order to just survive each other, and how distinct their forces are, and the various opportunities you have. Woo, that was some wonky boosting. Like, it starts getting more definitive based on those marks, where you're starting to like peel back the layers. This is actually here. There's these secrets to unfoil. There's more than what's meeting the eye.
No, not really, but since you're already here.
So, basically, thank you for that, Alec. But yeah, I mean, long story short, can we do X, Y, and Z for colors? Sure. Will we? We have a plan. We have certain things that we want to accomplish with each system, much like I described, and future systems that are coming. You know, we want to make sure that they are distinct in their own right, in their own way. So, yeah. But anyway, don't mind me. I'm just kind of like going too deep. Oh gosh, we're going too deep. All right.
Flight mode activated.
Oh, that's the one I need to be targeting. Oh, yeah. Destroyed before he can even get his armor boon. That always feels good. Excellent. Oh, yeah, that damage increase for having full shields, that's coming in quite handy on this Sentinel. I'm enjoying this little combo. All right. Take out a couple more of these punks. Oh! Oh, that was sick! I enjoyed that very much. Somebody's watching. Didn't your mother tell you not to play with your food? Sorry, having too much fun. Can't hear you. Oh my gosh. There's no way he survives that. There's no way. Ah! Gosh, I love this. All right, let's see what else we got. Cerulean Scout. Let's clear out the rest of these. Is that a turret? Is that a turret? Oh my gosh, there's a turret over here, guys. How did I miss this turret? All right. I'm sure we could find things to open these doors and whatnot, like this shield generator. I don't want to do all of it, though. I don't want to spoil the fun of discovery for you all. Just want to mainly showcase, you know, these environments and just how detailed we ended up going as we added these, you know, adding this underwater component overall. Like, it was not a small decision to make. We could have just left it to where you only fly above water. And, you know, we had a lot of positive thoughts of like, how can we make this system stand out even more, you know? And we're pretty happy with these results. Pretty happy with it. Some pretty cool little details that you can find more and more about the further you dive. Excellent. All right, let's go over to these coalition fighters, take a quick break, answer some more questions. What's up, buddy? How's it going? How's it going? All right. Is pressure the only underwater threat? Is there something that could come up from the briny depths and drag us to Rylai, for example? Oh my gosh. Nice. Look, I don't want to get like into super crazy spoiler territory. We have had internal discussions about like what would happen if we incorporated sea monsters. I want you guys to consider something, okay? Sincerely. As of right now, in the current game space, and this entire game, there are 2 locations where you can go underwater. In all of this, there's 2 locations where you can go underwater. If we were to put a lot of effort as to something that only existed underwater, we're talking a very niche situation in a game that's already technically in a niche genre. Space games aren't exactly the most popular thing out there, all right? So, keep that in mind. Like, we want to make sure that the content that we're adding to the game, it's going to be not only discoverable, but experienced through the bulk of the game state. So yeah, we want to have these wowing moments and these little intricate details and whatnot, for sure. And we want to have like those standout, impactful sequences. But we also need to be mindful of the fact that, you know, we are making a pretty expansive game here for the size of our team. And we want to make sure that the assets that we're bringing in can be utilized for the bulk of that experience, right? So, yeah, just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. That being said, we've definitely talked about underwater creatures. We've definitely talked about it, but we'll just have to see how that could potentially be further developed, if at all, and what could come to the table in future DLCs, okay? But I want to set a very clear expectation. It would not make a lot of sense for us to put a lot of attention to that in the current game space, okay? I know it's upsetting a couple of you. You're like, dang it, it'd be so cool if. Yes, don't disagree with that, but just keep that in mind. Like, that's a lot of work for very little impact over the bulk of the game, right? So just keep that in mind. Ooh, Phasium. It's like one of my favorite resources. It just looks so shiny and prismatic. Okay, whoo! That one took some effort. Excellent. Excellent. Goodness gracious, does that? I mean, just play Subnautica. That's not the point. That's oh my gosh. Thank you for that, Bearded Frog. I appreciate that. I appreciate you. Okay. All right. Goodness gravy. All right, let's go ahead and grab some more stuff here. Ooh, a slightly stronger pulse laser. I'll take it. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. I think we are going to use mines instead of the Scorpion missiles. Wait, they are magnetic. Okay, sweet. Yeah, we're gonna definitely keep that. I'm gonna salvage the one that was probably better, but I'm just not high enough level for it. I'm being stubborn. And an intuitive cargo unit with structure. Oh, they were both structure. Okay, so that's literally just straight better. Okay, awesome. And a Jaeger. Oh, we picked this up earlier. No, we want to use this bad boy. Oh my gosh. Remove that level restriction. Heck yeah. All right. Boom. You're right, pulse laser. Now we got a Jaeger. Delightful. All right. Much better. Let's take out a couple more retaliators, then we'll be on our way to another location. Oh, he went under the water. You see that? See that big old splash? We do it again. Oh, yeah, that feels good. Just like forcibly saying, nope, you have to swim. Get wrecked, nerd. It's not your choice, it's mine. Look at these guys just dropping down into the water. I love it. I love it. All right, so now I'm gonna go try and I want to try and get a job for these new battles that show up. For any of you who missed these, like if you haven't been looking at the job boards, they're pretty fun. So let's go back to Letho Starport. Oh my goodness. I see some people, some new individuals kind of asking questions and chatting. So thank you for being here. I see one individual, Spectre Spurtum, download the demo now. Awesome. I hope that you'll find a lot of delightful little treats from the demo. Generally speaking, we want to keep that demo fairly up to speed with all of the updates, even though you can only get up to level 5. I do know that as of right now, it has not received the update treatment for the summer update. So the content that, even at that first level 1 to 5 experience, it's not perfectly fluid in what you would get from the summer update experience. But I don't think it would be too much of a difference. I just want to point that out there. Like it's gonna be subtly different. Maybe not that subtle. Gosh, it's hard to describe. I don't know how many of you all started over a new save, but for me, the opening segments of the game were completely different, especially around that level 7 to 10 mark. I've talked about this on the stream before, but it's important to note because like, it was incredibly different from the last time that I went through that process. The first time it was a little bit savage to get through that. It's like you were fighting the enemies who are scaling past you as you're trying to just get equipment that works at all. But because we've revamped, mainly Marco has revamped how that system progresses and how weapons cataloged, weapon damage is cataloged, how enemy damage and defenses are, how they operate as you're going through the game. Like it's much more according to where you're at. It's much better. Okay, so now we've got these missions here from the Coalition where we can search and destroy, we can destroy base. We have battle support. Battle support is the one I want to do, but I also like the destroy base one. So let's do one that's way too high of a level for us and see what we can accomplish there. And yeah, we'll do these two. I only have one battle support. That's unfortunate. I should also note, this was brought to my attention. Whenever I go into the job board and you see like an absurd number of these, that's because dev. I've got dev cheats right now. My dev build is like, oh, hey, all of this stuff is populating an absurd amount because dev. That's why. Generally speaking, you shouldn't see an absurd number of these. This is for testing purposes for us. But yeah. Anyway, I'm also informed that the demo was in fact updated with the summer update content. So I am glad to be wrong on this front. Thank you so much for that, that insight, Casper. Really good to know. Really good to know. So the demo is in fact updated for with all the summer update materials. Even though I feel like we had a conversation about how it probably wasn't going to, was it last week? But that's, again, I'm glad that I'm wrong. I am super glad that the demo has been updated. Very, very good. So try before you buy, as Nightbot says. You can click on that demo link right there. Have a go. Oh my gosh. Okay. So we got these jobs. We want to go champion at least one of them before we transition into some screenshots. We got lots of screenshots. Lots and lots and lots of screenshots. Let's see. Let's do the battle support one first. And I'm pretty sure the big bad bug on these has been fixed. I hope. And while we're flying over here, I'll answer a couple more questions. Oh no, did I close my questions? No! Oh, there it is. Some parts of some particular types of ships, like the Stinger, for example, don't change color and have a fixed color. Can you change that? Can we change it? I'm guessing yes. Will we change it? I'm guessing no. I know that we've had, that's also been a part of an internal discussion where we have like the gray parts. In fact, I colored my ship in particular to make it look like all of it's just gray and unpainted. But I digress. Yeah, we have like the standard parts in between, and then you like paint 3 certain territories of the ship. It's possible, granted, it is not likely, that we could add like a 4th color option that's like the base tone, which would be those grays. But with all sincerity, it's not likely going to happen because we've already done a lot of stuff with the aesthetics of the ship at this point that we're really happy with, and we do have some plans of additional customization in the future that we're also getting pretty happy with. So to do more outside of that could get really crazy. So would it be cool? I'm not gonna say no, but again, really tempering that expectation there. It's not likely that you would that you'll be able to adjust that base sort of gray color in the future. All right. So anytime you do a battle support mission, you are effectively going up against one faction while you are defending the coalition. So you're a team coalition basically, so long as you are in the Drake system. And you are trying to best the enemy before they best the coalition. Now I know that this actually went through a number of balance passes as well. But I also want you guys to know that like on very hard mode, because it doesn't look like this is happening yet. But I know that we've talked internally about very hard mode being very much a race to best the enemies before the coalition in a weakened state is overcome. And right now this doesn't look to be too bad because coalition hasn't even taken any losses yet. But it has been something of a discussion point we've had. Because, you know, it does need to be challenging, especially if you're on very hard. Oh man, did you see that coalition guy who just got frosted? Ooh, that looked like it hurt. So the coalition are the good guys. Very much so, yes. Very much so. Yeah, the coalition are actually a faction that was created by one of our fans, and also was in EVERSPACE 1 as well. A faction that was overarchingly good. Even though they are technically outlaws, they have a much stronger sense of honor than most. And the traits that they have, their virtues, if you will, are generally aligned with far better behaviors than that of a standard pilfering outlaw. We got just a couple more to bring down. Here, let's just do this. We're at max shield, so this should be a heck of a lot of damage. Give me my shields back. There we go. Man, none of the other enemies are fighting me. They're fighting the coalition. How dare they? Well, this certainly kept their drones at bay, that's for sure. Ooh! Ooh, we're frosted! Let me back in! Put me in, coach! Alright. We just have like one more enemy to take out, I think. Oh, that's just a drone. We need something bigger. Hello, bigger. Oh, we got him. We got him. Excellent.
Job is done.
Okay, you will receive your payment.
Thank you. Delightful. So yeah, that's how that works. And of course, there's other little trinkets and things to be found when you're doing jobs and whatnot, with Coalition and otherwise. So yeah, I really like the battle support job. It's pretty nice. Then of course we also had the, go raid a base, which is pretty cool too. Oh, are you speaking about Microsoft, Ingmar? Is that what you are bringing to the attention of all? I believe that's correct. Okay, yeah. So, quick announcement from Ingmar. So, I know that several of you guys out there, in fact, use I always forget what it's called. It's embarrassing. I really shouldn't. It's the pass or whatever. Which you have access to EVERSPACE 2 through, right? That is getting updated. There are always a number of issues that come up whenever we go through certification. It's pleasant. Look, it happens. Development is a fickle beast at times. Long story short, we do have a fairly decent ETA into when things are coming through. And so Ingmar's letting us know that it looks like ETA changed from Tuesday-ish to in 4 hours-ish. So 4 hours-ish, meaning 4 hours from now, because that's way faster than Tuesday of next week. That would be fantastic. So thank you for that update. That's huge. Game Pass, yes, thank you, Geekbite, for informing me on things that I should absolutely know already. But yes, so for all of you Game Pass owners out there wondering where the heck the update is, we finally got everything pushing through certification appropriately, and Microsoft is like, yay, this can happen. So 4-ish hours, and that bad boy should be going live. So thank you for that update, Ingmar. That's actually huge. That's pretty dope. So yay, clap. Yeah, that's good. Awesome. All right, so now I'm kind of lollygagging around because it's time to go over to screenshots. We need to go back to base though. We should always go back to base. If you can go back to base, always choose to do that when you save your game. Otherwise, weird things happen. Subject to no issues. That's a really good, important thing to state. Subject to no issues. Woo. See if we can do this again. That's fun. I just like adding to it. Do you guys, I'm sure you guys do this too. It's like when you're listening to something, you're just like, you're adding like your own little beat. It's just what I do. It's what I do. It's fun. I mean, that's a little too much. It is what it is. I'm just glad you guys enjoy it. Oh my gosh. I guess you enjoy it. You guys are silly. I love each and every one of you. You're a pleasure to be here. You guys have been asking some freaking amazing questions, by the way, and I'm really happy that you continue to be a part of these streams, you know. I know that I can be somewhat entertaining, but I know that you come to be informed. And our goal here at ROCKFISH Games is to make sure you are informed, that you have the right expectations, that we can have these meaningful discussions about game development and ensure that, you know, your desires are being met, or at least there's an understanding as to why it might not be being met, right? So sincerely, like, huge shout out to each and every one of you for showing up and just being a part of these streams, bringing your energy and bringing your questions just for these exchanges. It's so positively fantastic. Speaking of the questions, let's lock in a couple more as we dock. And then we are going to jump over to screenshots as we continue to answer more questions, of course. So we have one from Spectrum, I think, on Twitch. Coalition is then freelance police force, effectively, more or less. That's, I mean, yeah, we go with that. They're good people that don't necessarily follow the law, if that makes sense. So yeah. All right, will a spatial bypass, this question comes from Bearded Frog. Will a spatial bypass point be added to Drake in the future before 1.0 so we can use fast travel perk there? Every other system has at least one. Yeah, there is actually a spatial bypass point in Drake. There is one. That's actually something we could do next. I'm just going to pinpoint it on the map so you know. But yeah, there's totally one in the Drake system. And we did that intentionally. Next question, and last one before we transition, is from Fins. There is a side mission in Cedo involving a choice whether to let the old Bloodstar historian keep his data or not. Does or will this choice affect anything in game? So, I do like this question. I think it's important to note that while we are using a lot of the proverbial RPG mechanics in regards to player progression and driven story, and, you know, a lot of these elements where you embody this character, you're role-playing this character that's going through a very specific story. We did not so much make it to where you decide how the story transpires, okay? That is not what we had intended in the first place. We always wanted it to be a little bit on the sandboxy side when it comes like your action, right? And the loot gains, but for the story, we had it very much focused in on this is the story that you are experiencing through the lens of Adam Roslin, a clone of Adam Roslin. So in regards to the choice that you decide on, does it affect anything? Not necessarily. A lot of the choices that you get to choose back and forth, there's maybe like a couple in the original EVERSPACE, for example. It's not going to be transforming of an entire nation or faction or station or system, you know, anything like that. It's going to be minuscule in comparison to like the grand scheme of things. It just gives you a little bit of that freedom of choice in you just deciding, do I feel like Adam would do this or do I feel like Adam would do that? So both are palpable, both are appropriate. There's not really a best way solution, and that's just kind of like how we designed those particular missions. Okay. All right, so we got all that stuff squared away. We're saving for the stream right here, right now. Done again. Dismiss, because now it's time to jump over to our screenshots. Yeah. If it's gonna load, please load. Hang on a second. I think my screenshot folder decided to die. Quick break. quick break, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll be right back in to the game, or screenshots rather, in just a moment. So thank you all for being super awesome through your patience. But also keep in mind, all the things that you see scrolling on the screen right now, these are places where you can go to get more information if you're curious, like you can be parts of more conversations within the community space. We'd love to have you. We are constantly having discussions, and we're constantly, oh my gosh, excuse me. We're constantly having just a really good time, like sharing memes and fantastic screenshots that you're about ready to see. All sorts of things, all these places. Pick your poison. I would recommend Discord heavily. There's just been so much positivity on that front, so many wonderful discussions to be had. We also have an Ask Questions channel specifically. It's called Ask RFG there. So if there was something that perhaps you asked me but I missed somehow on the stream, you can just follow up with me over there. And then myself or somebody in the community will just poke you and say, yo, this is how it be. It is a fantastically good time. All right. Speaking of good time, you guys have been going ham with screenshots. So we are going to be covering over the course like the last 2 weeks, I think. And it's nuts. It's nuts how much stuff is cataloged here as I'm getting so many texts on my phone. Goodness, go away phone. I'm working here. And we just want to highlight these. We're going to zip through them a little bit faster because my daughter is now starting to go back to school, which means at 3 o'clock I have to be done. And when I say 3 o'clock, that's like 13 minutes from now. So let's give you guys that praise and attention that you deserve though. Let's start things off with Highbarf. Highbarf gave us several photo dumps, which were delightful. You can never go wrong with photo dump, even though, as Geekbyte will also mention, it does take a little bit more time to comb through everything, but don't let that stop you. So I chose some of your best ones, Highbarf. Really like this one, just having it bend across the scene, so many vibrant colors, and I love those trails. I think the distinction of it's technically like the Redeemer style ship, like the Freelancer's ship here. I love the way that it comes across. I love those engine trails. Super cool, super cool. So very nice shot. I also love those cockpit shots, of course. I like the way that this one's captured. It's almost like you're watching a cutscene here with how it's taken. I love the way the presentation of this, where you have a very clear focus, but you don't necessarily know all the parts of the story. Did you destroy this? Did you witness somebody else? Was this something you were supposed to protect and you failed? Was this a target you were supposed to destroy and you succeeded? Like, why are you using an efficient flak on such a large enemy? Like so many questions to be answered. It's beautiful. I love it. I love it. So keep it up. Definitely keep it up. Flory, you had so many frosty, icy photos. I started looking at my screenshots overall and I was like, man, everything is blue. I hope this is okay, but that's how we're gonna roll. So Flory's first shot comes from a location that I haven't ventured to yet, but it has this dynamic crystalline form inside of this ice asteroid. And here's a really great shot of just what that looks like. You can see all of these different crystals, Aethium crystal that you can gather. It's dotted all the heck over. It's a very rich site for Aethium. So if you've managed to somehow miss this very populous resource throughout the game, going here is going to catch you up to speed very fast. It's incredibly dense at this site. So very cool shot. We got Ace of Blades also coming in with several of their photos as well. It was a little bit harder to pilfer through yours, but I think that this one was probably the best one captured because it's telling that story, right? You're seeing this ship flying forward into the crevasse of ice asteroids. And I love the way that the effect, like this icy effect, you see that little bend around the ice. I love the way that comes across. Like, this was something I really enjoyed about EVERSPACE 1. I just love it. I just love it. It's so good. It's so good. So nice little shot there, Ace of Blades. Then Spoon Knight's all coming in and he's all being like, yo, check this out. And he had way too many that were great. So I just grabbed like your incredible ones and I left some of the great ones still back in the Discord. So if you want to see more of Spoon Knight, he's a galactic photographer and he's definitely earned this badge. He's got so many delightful shots that I highly recommend seeing. And you can also see the detail of these underwater textures where we wanted them to look like they're rusted out and corroded through the wear and tear of water damage, okay? Like, that is something our team paid attention to. And I love how it's captured here. You got this light shining down. You're like, what's going on here? What can we find? It comes together so well. Very, very well captured, Spoot Knight. And also, can I just say, I love your ship. Oh my gosh, I love the way that you captured it. I love the way that you colorized it. And I love the way you have it compared to another ship that's in the dock. I don't know if you like colored both of these or if this bottom one's a standard coloration that you can get. I think it is a standard coloration, but regardless, the way that you lined yourself up dang near perfectly, like you're a little bit, like this is a little, you're slightly off. Look at me critiquing Spoot Knight. Look, you're a galactic photography, you're great at these, but your alignment could use some work. Sincerely though, I love the way this came together. So fantastic. I dig it immensely, so keep it up. Fantastic shots. Easy Bake threw a couple at us as well. Wanted to highlight this one. It's nothing crazy new, but man, do I enjoy these just simple scenic shots. It just gives you a moment to just rest, just kind of like it's a momentary reprieve from all that combat and all that blue that we've been looking at. Oh my gosh, woo! It's solid, and it gives you this sense of scale as well when you're at these locations where your ship is just a speck in all of this, and these planets are just so massive. Super love it, super love it. Oh my gosh. All right, next one up we've got comes from Flory. This one probably looks familiar for those of you on YouTube, because this was the thumb art that was chosen for it. This one, it's so good. It's so great. So fantastic work on that front, Flory. We chose it. We chose it for the thumbnail. It's just so freaking, I'm trying to think of an ice pun, but you've heard plenty of them, so we're just gonna leave it as is. It's great. It's great. It's great. This is what it is. So fantastic shot. Fantastic shot. All right, moving on to the next ones. Trying to keep up with my timing. I've got 7 minutes. Oh, okay, laser speed. Spoot Knight showing off more of these beautiful tier 3 ships. I love the way that he's, going for similar color schemes, but still is very much, distinct. Like that orange. We actually do have the exact same reddish color that's in G&B as a choice on your ship. You can choose that exact color. But Spoot Knight's like, nah, I want to stand out from the crowd, and chooses that nice fresh orange. I think that's the Harvest Gold, if I'm not mistaken. And I love it. I love the way that he makes that stand out. And the details of the ship in comparison to the details of the planet, also using that nice depth of field look. Oh my goodness. Bringing it all together. Flory, I believe? No, Highbarf. Highbarf with another really nice shot. I love these cockpit shots. You guys know that. I'm a sucker for them. And I love the way that this is, exploring the depths of the interior of an asteroid that has definitely seen some sort of base attempt. Maybe there was a base and it was destroyed by an earlier Adam Russell clone or otherwise, but there's so many wonderful things that are showing up here. It's like, I need to know more, I need to see more, and seeing it from the cockpit's perspective. Of course, this is more like from the belly button. I feel like you're kind of looking up, as opposed to, don't worry about that front. Highbarf, it's not a critique, it's beautiful. There's short people that exist in the world, and I love it. It's great. It's great. Geometry Prime started a new save file and wanted to go a little bit Tony Stark, I guess. Love the way that he's recolored his ship and the way that he's blasting off. It's almost like an Iron Man challenge, if you will. It's phenomenal. So definitely looking forward to your feedback. If you haven't provided already, you probably did, because the forums are crawling with your ideas and suggestions and your points, which is great, by the way. Yeah, it's super cool, super cool. So speaking of cool, check out this legend. Oh my gosh, we got Captain Milo cruising around in Zerilia's location with his very hot ship. That's too close to the lot, by the way. He's totally taking damage, but I don't think he cares. I think he was going for the cool factor, and it has definitely been achieved. So well done, Captain Milo. We got Zareth, who's showing off this particular ship style that he acquired. I believe this is a tier 3 Vindicator, if I'm not mistaken. But man, I love the detail work going on. Oh my gosh, Matthias. Oh, I love this. I love how it all comes together. And again, like I've said this before, like the Vindicator's probably my favorite looking ship, even though it's not my favorite one to fly, but I love the way that comes across. Great shot, Zareth, and showing us that snag. It's beautiful. It is beautiful. Very, very good. Spoot Knight showing us the fireworks. I'm not even 100% sure I know what's happening here. I don't know if this was part of the exploit, the one that we are totally patching out, because it doesn't actually really affect you guys that much if we're being completely honest, but I don't think we like it being in the game. So I shouldn't say it will be patched out. It might be patched out. Anyway, it's awesome. It looks really cool. It looks really cool. So don't question the fireworks just tomorrow. Okay, all right, good, good. Excellent. Very, very good. Yep. So yeah, I think it looks phenomenal. It's funny because like if you're looking at this, it's just like a like a thumbnail, really, really small. It almost looks like you're looking at a galaxy. It looks like you're looking at a space scene, but then when you look at it up close, it's totally not that. It's explosions all around. Very, very good. So speaking of exploits, thank you T3 Cube for your hard work. Oh man, that's not how that's supposed to happen. But does it look cool? Yes. So thank you for the share. Absolutely delightful. Again, not entirely sure we're gonna fix this because it doesn't really affect gameplay. But we'll see. We'll see. Time will tell. Geometry Prime swooping in with some very sexy colors. Oh my goodness, look at that. It's very it's like rustic, but also like very almost noble or royal, even though there's no purple, but still like it's almost got like this crowned gold sort of stylization there. Definitely dig that. I also think that it was an appropriate choice to add that depth of field too. Makes it stand out even further, like to get all those rich details of the ship. As always, Geometry Prime, fantastic work with your shots. I love it. Then we got Kazaa also doing some weapon exploits. Like, dang, that flak is that Penumbra specifically. That's some serious fire rates going on there. But I love it. I love it. All right, I've got 2 minutes left. This is the fast lane we're just going through. All right, we got Excel, who has this beautiful bridge between a planet and an asteroid field. Almost looks like a before and after scene. It's crazy. I love how that was accomplished. Very well done, Excel. Major kudos. Spoot Night, we got this lovely shot of GMB nearby this Cola site in Union. Definitely love the vibes it gives as you're seeing it kind of depart from this space station near this planet, and the sun's the background hitting the moon. Oh, so delightful. We've also got Key Sky, who plugged in a couple shots through the course of the last week. I just love the standardized approach to GMB cruising through Nefty's planes. You can't really go wrong with a nice solid formation, which they accomplished nicely, might I add. We also have another one from Key Sky capturing more of that GMB goodness. You don't have to overcomplicate things. Sometimes simplicity is beauty, and this is a prime example of that. Nothing super crazy, and yet it gives all that detail and rich stylization galore. Oh my gosh, what a delight. We got Geometry Prime, who is going for a new color scheme, I believe. You're saying that you kind of fell in love with it. I'd like to know more. I think it's particular. I think that it's definitely got potential. I want to see more shots. For sure. I love this shot. I think it's at Prescott. Maybe? It's hard to tell. But I love the use of your depth of field as always. We have Salt Can, who captured this, and it just gave me the giggles because, you know, asset overlapping is definitely a thing. You get things that like, you've got like a wall here and a shape here and it just goes through and you're just like, that's not how physics work. And yet, this legitimately looks like the ship authentically got stuck in the station. And I just love that so much. That was so well captured. So thank you for that. At the very least, it put a smile on my face. Very good job, Salt Can. Flory, we got Flory capturing some looks over at Prescott, seeing some of the undercity, if you will, and how transports operate. I love it. Very great shot as well. Wrapping things up with Geometry Prime. Again, we've got these color schemes that are kind of like just subtly different enough to stand out. It's like, I love how the greens kind of match, but then the orange, no, This is more like a red, and then this is more like a gold, and it's just off enough that it pisses me off, but I can't really be mad because I love this shot. It's a great capture. I love what you guys do. Like, oh my goodness, every time, it's just like the colors themselves. I dig it. We got Crispy Muffin here, who had only just started diving in today, was it? And finished all the Gang War stuff and was super pumped about bringing everything together. Oh my gosh, I love this shot. I love your symmetrical shots as a whole, Crispy Muffin, so keep it up. I know you had a lot of questions about the photo mode today. We'll see what happens. I'm gonna try and get some more information regarding photo mode and what could potentially be changing on that front, guys. But do note, I don't think it's much. I really don't think it's much. I think that photo mode is all but wrapped up. If more features come to it, it's gonna be maybe like an after 1.0 thing, but still, I will see if there's anything on that front to talk about next time. And the last shot comes from Crispy Muffin. I didn't even realize this was like the appearance of the asteroids on the site. I don't know if like you just timed that perfectly or what, but I love this. I love the way you brought that together. That looks so freaking dope. That looks so freaking cool. I love how it's all jaggeding inside and you're flying towards it, and there's a great mystery to unpack as we're going into this wormhole. Very, very stinking cool. And guys, that is going to wrap it up for today's stream. I'm glad to be back. I'm glad that you guys enjoyed this. You had some fantastic questions. Again, if I missed any of your questions, do note it's not because I hate you. It's not because I'm ignoring you. It's simply because there's a lot that I do on these streams and I just didn't get to it. So follow up with us. You can do so, of course, over at the Discord. You can ask questions in the forums too. Many people will respond, including myself. Otherwise, you guys have been absolutely awesome today. I have absolutely been Eric Schrader, your community ambassador. Don't stop being awesome. And next week, we'll probably have more stuff to show you already. I'm not even joking. I was kind of hoping I would accidentally run into some of it and show you today on a whim, but it didn't happen. So, awesome. All right, toodles! And there's no after stream thing because I beatboxed in the middle of the stream and my wife is coming down the stairs right now to go pick up my daughter from school. I gotta go. Toodles!